I can't even imagine the feeling once you realize, like, A, your dog is gone, your puppy is gone, and then you start to put the clues together that maybe it was one of your former neighbors that stole your dog. Oh, they're going to be some fists flying. Abby's got the email.
About a year ago, I got the sweetest little black lab puppy. I named him Max, and he quickly became the light of my life. Max was so sweet, so playful, and so cute. My old neighbor's daughter used to come over and play with him almost daily. Around this time, my neighbors were in the process of moving. Coincidentally, the day my neighbors moved, Max suddenly disappeared. I was devastated. I searched high and low, put up posters, and had the entire neighborhood looking for him. I couldn't find any trace of my sweet pup. I work from home, so I used to leave the back door open for Max to come in and out on his own while I was on work calls. When I went to find Max, I couldn't find him, and I saw that the gate to my yard was open. So it's been a year, and there have been no signs of Max. Then a few days ago, my old neighbor posted a story on Instagram. In the background of the photo, I saw a dog that looked just like Max, a black lab of the same size he would be now. My heart skipped a beat, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it was him. Now I'm convinced that my old neighbors might have taken Max with them when they moved, possibly because their daughter loved him so much. But I don't have concrete proof. What should I do? Can I accuse them of stealing Max based on this video alone? How can I gather evidence to find out if this dog is really him? I don't want to make false accusations, but my gut tells me that something just isn't right. Thank you all in advance. Meredith.
All right, I'm going to take a deep breath before I lose my S.
Yeah.
Right? As a person who currently has 3 dogs and couldn't fathom somebody doing this, because they are your fur babies, and I am livid for you if this is indeed the case. So no, you cannot accuse them of stealing Max based on this video alone. Maybe she loved the little dog so much that when they moved, they got one like it, so she could get used to her new home or get more comfortable, whatever. But what I would do, Meredith, if I was in your shoes, I would drive my ass over to that house, no matter how far it is, and I would go and I would knock on the door, or if the dog's outside, I would go to the fence and say, Max, and if he turns, because he's going to remember you, right? He will remember you. Or if you go to the door and you answer and the dog is excited to see you, I would be like, you stole my damn dog.
Mm-hmm. I'm livid for them, too.
If we were talking about a kid, obviously you would call the police immediately. But I am really, really curious in a case like this, legally, what can you even do, man? I mean, it's not like you can call 911 on something like this, right? I mean, they would hang up on you. But does anybody have any ideas of what you can do based on a hunch like this? 1-855-BERT-CHA.
I don't see any issue with you calling the law and letting them know, be like, I think somebody stole my dog and this is where I think they are. And you could have the police go over there with you if that's the route you want to take, because that is stolen property. I'm hoping you have the dog microchipped, and that would be the easiest way. Be like, all right, if you didn't steal the dog, let's go to a vet or let's go to a shelter and we can scan the chip and we can see whose dog it is.
Well, we got to assume it's not, because then there would be no email,
yes.
Right? So let's assume that it's not. So what do you do in a case like this? No, if you, it can't be proven. It was a year ago. The dog doesn't look like it did a year ago. I'm thinking if you call 911, they're going to probably go, you're kind of screwed here.
Well, you're not calling 911. Don't call the emergency line, because this is not technically an emergency. You would look up the local authorities.
Whatever. Any authority is probably going to go, you know how many things I've got on my to-do list today? So you want me to go over to a former neighbor's house and see if this is your dog when there's going to be...
You're cutting out, Bert. I think we got you back, though. Yeah, we got you back.
Yeah, I just don't think that I don't know how it can be proven. I don't even know what the first step would be.
You go to the house. You go to the house and you're like, hey, Max. And if the dog recognizes you and comes to you and answers to Max, that is your dog.
But even if you show up and you say, like, oh, look, he recognizes me, the family could just go, well, that's not Max. Maybe he's just coming up and saying hi.
Y'all need to watch. I can't remember if it was Judge Joe Brown, if it was Judge Judy. I don't remember. But this was a debate about a man and a woman and a dog. And they let the dog into the courtroom, immediately ran to the guy, was all over him, loving him. And they were like, the dog is yours. Like, it was like...
But this was a year this was a year ago. The dog was a puppy, is what she's saying. So now you've got a year. Is that dog going to have the same enthusiasm because now the family member is the one that's been hanging out with him for the last year?
I think the dog will remember. I really do.
No calls, Tommy, on any kind of direction to go?
Yeah, we do. All right, go ahead and we'll take one. Hey, Jordan, welcome to the Bert Show. What would you do?
Hey, how are you? So I would take your advice. I was going to say the exact same thing that you said. I will go over there, see if the dog can recognize me, and then I will call the cops because that's enough proof right there.
Yep,
that happened to my cousin, and he lives in Georgia. And when the dog recognized him, he was able to call the cops. They took him to the vet, and the chip, hopefully she has him chipped. If not, then she's going to have to go a different route. But that is enough proof for them to come over and take the dog to at least go get checked to see if it has the chip under her name.
So your cousin actually went through this?
Yes, my cousin Miguel. He went through it, and he went over to his old neighbor's house. He had a pit bull puppy, and Miguel had a microchip. And when the neighbor moved, the dog disappeared. He was like, what the freak? But he was neighbors with the kid. So the kid will go bragging about his new pit bull puppy. So Miguel was like, yo, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, y'all moved, now y'all got a pit bull puppy? Like, that's kind of weird. So Miguel went over there and was like, yo, Thor, come here. And the dog came over.
Yep.
Like, it was like 6-7 months later. And the dog came over, and then he called the cops, and the cops were like, yo, you sure this is your dog? He's like, yeah, look, Thor. And the dog will come wagging his tail like he's seen, like, hasn't seen him in forever, you know? And they took him to the vet, scanned the chip, bam, it was a dog. He took him, they charged the people for thefts or something like that. And then they charged him with, like, an animal cruelty something as well. They got, like, 4 tickets from it, so, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's the only thing that they can do is take your guys' advice and the caller's advice also and just go on over there and see if it actually works. Now, the owners might not even give her access to the dog when she shows up at the house to even do your tests. You don't have any idea.
Well, normally if you knock on a door, ring a doorbell, a dog's going to bark and they're going to be right there at the door. So fingers crossed. It works like the universe works to your advantage and allows you to get in the vicinity of Max to prove that Max is yours.
Yes, if movie, it would work out perfectly this way. So we'll see.
This is more of a Hallmark movie, but yeah.
The Bert Show.